just witnessed the fastest anyone has ever solved a Rubik's Cube. It might take you 5 seconds to tie a shoelace or refresh Twitter, but there's a whole world of people who can solve a Rubik's Cube in that time, and at its peak is this guy.
Hi, my name is Feliks Zemdegs, and I currently hold the world record for solving the Rubik's Cube.
This is Felix. This is me. And this is the world of speed cubing. Speed cubing, or speed solving, is the sport where people solve one of these as fast as possible. It's a Rubik's Cube. Or at least it's gonna be. Now you might think that speed cubers are geniuses, that they're going through all 43 quintillion possible permutations in their head like they're Dr. Strange, but that's not it. Solving a Rubik's Cube isn't actually that hard, unlike opening this container. There we go. All 26 pieces have a specific role that never changes. The center pieces will always remain at the center, so if you're looking at the white center, no matter how you rotate the sides, you will always be looking at the white center. Then there are the corner pieces and the edge pieces. I think that's what these are. For example, this will always be the blue and orange edge piece, and it will always need to end up here. Similarly, the red, white, green corner piece needs to end up here. Every single piece has its place. So to solve a cube, all you need to do is figure out how to get the pieces where they need to be. And if you think that sounds more like a design problem than a children's toy, you'd be right. This is Professor Erno Rubik.
Okay.
Yes, as in that Rubik. In 1974, he invented the Rubik's Cube. Here's why.
Basically my curiosity. So I was looking for interesting examples of potential for structuring and 3 dimensions to create an object that contains several pieces. The pieces are connected, but they can move freely.
That's right. The Rubik's Cube started out as a design project, and only after taking a few months to solve the cube for the first time ever, did he realize that it could be a fun puzzle for everyone. And I mean everyone. Nowadays, Rubik's Cubes and tutorials can be found everywhere. So, if it's so easy to solve one, why can't we all do this?
So the main difference is that if you're like a speed cuber and you've learned a bunch more methods and techniques and that sort of thing, as opposed to if you've just learned how to solve the Rubik's Cube from some sort of beginner's method, learn some algorithms, that sort of thing, you won't really understand what you're doing. You're just copying a recipe.
The recipe for the beginner's method looks a little like this. You create a daisy, then a white cross, then solve the cube layer by layer using a handful of repeatable steps called algorithms. Theoretically, any scramble can be solved in 20 moves. Using the beginner's method will usually take you 80 or more. You end up wasting a lot of moves backtracking to make up for simplicity. But if you're willing to practice a little more and memorize a few more efficient algorithms, you can use CFOP, or cross, first 2 layers, orient last layer, and permute last layer. It was first documented by Jessica Friedrich, who is one of the few female speedcubers to make it into the World Cube Association records. Of the over 110,000 entries, less than 10% of speedcubers identify as female. Yet CFOP is probably the most popular method to be used by speedcubers. While the beginner's method at best is about 80 moves, CFOP takes about 56. So if we take the 10 fastest average times according to the WCA records and average them across moves, assuming no stops, that's 0.08 seconds per move, or 80 milliseconds. Now, Human Benchmark is this website with a few games testing brain ability, one of which is reaction time. I gave it a shot.
I'm clenching every single time I click, like it's surprising me.
Of the 70 million plus data points, I scored about average with 291 milliseconds. In that time I saw the green, my brain processed that, sent the command that I needed to click, and then physically clicked. If we reframe that as a speedcuber seeing a cube, choosing what algorithm is best to use, and then using it, they can do all of that faster than a click of a button. So, do you need to have superhuman reflexes to be a speedcuber? No, because there's another thing.
I guess another really important component is what's known as look ahead. So that is, you're solving these two pieces at a time, but whilst you're solving, a few pieces, you want to be looking around at the rest of the cube to figure out what you're going to do next, so that you can immediately go straight into that, rather than, solving pieces, pausing, and then trying to find more stuff.
So method and look ahead. Armed with this knowledge, I tried to become a speed cuber in 1 month. Why the short timeline? Well, it's because at the end of the month, the Red Bull Rubik's Cube World Championship Finals were happening in Boston, and I was competing. But more on that later.
So I'm trying out this faster method where you're supposed to solve the first 2 layers like at the same time, which would be great and all because it cuts out a bunch of unnecessary steps, except I do it slower. So in the end, my time is now like 10 minutes. Real tempted to just not do this. As you can tell by my sweatpants, today is a travel day. I am flying to Boston tonight. Actually, I need to be at the airport in like 30 minutes, but I'm really sleepy and I'm considering taking a nap and just risking it. It's just weird. Like, this is the moment. This is the time when I get to prove that I can do the Rubik's Cube. And I don't know why I'm getting so stressed out by it, but that's just who I am. So I'm gonna take a nap, and then if I wake up in time to get to Boston, so be it. Myself in the face. Ow! Okay, so I originally was going to Boston just to like maybe face off against the Speed Cuber too, just for fun, just for the lols. But then this happened. Okay, so apparently it's an open qualifier and they just announced the last call, so I think I'm gonna join. I'm gonna see how I do it. This is gonna embarrass me. Hello, it's me and my babies. I don't know how you're supposed to hold all of these. Do you think I'm gonna do good? Do you think I'm gonna win?
I believe in you.
That's not an answer.
I believe in you. I'll repeat that again.
And I think this is a good point to explain how speed cubing tournaments actually work. Because just like how you can simplify basketball to getting a ball in a hole, and golf to getting a ball in a hole, and soccer to getting a ball in a hole, there's more than that. The basic setup is a timer, a referee, and a covered cube. It's covered to hide the scramble, which is the specific permutation the cube is in. Volunteers scramble the cube the same for all competitors so times can be compared fairly. The referee lifts the cover and you have a few seconds to inspect. This is where speedcubers will plan out their first few moves. Then you put your hands on the timer and release, which immediately starts the clock. It only stops after you solve the cube and return your hands. So, how did I do? I don't know even what I'm looking at. Okay. Where are you? I'm dying. This is a nightmare. Oh, that was the wrong one. No. Good job. That's not the worst in the world. Like, I could hear my heartbeat. My life was flashing before my eyes. I'm so sweaty right now. You don't understand. So was I the slowest person of the day? Yes. So, I'm not gonna be a competitive speed cuber anytime soon, obviously. But even though my experience in the qualifier was this overwhelming failure, I don't regret the time I spent practicing. You see, I'm at this point in my life where I rarely do anything new, and it's really easy to feel like nothing is ever gonna change anymore. And that sucks. But in the span of a month, I turned this thing that was so overwhelmingly alien, these pages on pages of algorithms, into something that is now almost second nature. It was refreshing in a way that I've started to forget, and
A nice reminder that it's never too late to start. And that lesson wouldn't have been possible without Red Bull Mind Gamers. That's right, boys, sponsor. Watch them cancel this video because I just dabbed. I've actually worked with them in the past with this video over here. They are one of my favorite sponsors to work with because they let videos like this exist. Like, I met the guy who invented the Rubik's Cube. Ah! Like, I was sweating so much because I was so nervous and excited. Do you know how cool the guy oh man, that's just, it was so cool. But anyway, besides making weirdly specific nerdy dreams come true, what does Red Bull Mind Gamers do? Well, they host these niche nerdy competitions. I'm talking Rubik's Cubes, escape rooms, online challenges. These online challenges give you a chance to learn something new, play around with it, and then potentially win a prize. They've done memory challenges, quantum physics, 3D printing, which if you're like me, you probably find interesting. So I've left a link in the description, check it out. Also, let me know what you think of this video in the comments. It is probably the biggest project that I've worked on since I've changed my video style, and I'm proud of it! Let me know, like this video, subscribe, blah, blah, blah. But either way, have a lovely day.